Well, we've come to the valley, and the valley's where I grew up, San Fernando Valley, Tarzana, California. And I'm turning left from Ventura Boulevard onto Topeka Drive. Topeka Drive in Tarzana is the street that I grew up on. I'm going to show you now the house that I lived in for the better part of my life. It's up here ahead. Now, I can tell you that it doesn't look anything like the house that I grew up in. They totally remodeled it. And I don't think they remodeled it good, personally. But this is where a lot of my great friends that I'm still in touch with, we all grew up on Topeka Drive, and I'm still very much in communication with a lot of those guys that I grew up with, like Richie Holdren and Andrew Manning. Andrew Manning used to live in this house right here. And, might have been this house. Oh no, maybe, I think it was this house. No, look at this house. My God, what the heck are they doing? That's Christmas fantasy going on there. Anyway, Topeka Drive was a great street to grow up on because it was very family, and you could walk down to Ventura Boulevard, and it was right walking distance to both the elementary school and the junior high school, which I'll take you to as well. All right, so this is it, 5206 Topeka Drive, right here. This is it, 5206 Topeka Drive. And it really does not, I don't know what happened to this house. It really looks quite different from when I grew up in it. We didn't have any of this fencing, and then we had a nice lawn and the whole thing. They really kind of let this go. But you see this ending room right there, the last room? That was my bedroom. Yep. Trip down memory lane. Now we're going to go, I'll show you from here how close I was to the schools. But I could actually walk out the back part of the house and into the alley and be at my elementary school, which was Wilbur Avenue Elementary. And here's Wilbur Ave. Just went down here. That's Wilbur Avenue Elementary School, where I went to elementary. Wow. This is Nyberg's 4th grade class right there. Remember that. I had a crush on my 4th grade teacher. And this is where Steven Simper lived with his family. And I shouldn't really tell you this on camera, but there was some bad stuff going on at the Simper's house. Not the Simper, Simpson, I think it was the last name, but not Brian Simpson. Steve Simpson, I think. Then this across the street is this is Gaspar di Portola Junior High School, and this is where I went to junior high, right across the street. I'll take you to the front. Yep, cruising through Tarzana. You been to Tarzana? It's actually it's a nice place to bring up kids. I had a very happy childhood in Tarzana. Great friends, and as I mentioned, a lot of the kids that I grew up with and went to school with are still very much in my life. Oops, almost ran a stop sign in Tarzana. Don't tell anybody. Here's Portola Middle School, right here. Back when I was going to school, they called them junior highs. Now it is called Portola Middle School. There it is, right there. Let me get you a little farther shot. Is that better? Okay. Here's another shot. different angle. Tola Middle School. It is. That's where the Linux lived. They probably still live there. Oh no, the Getzigs. Oh, horrible memory.
You get a lot of these names from them.
Okay, now I'm gonna cruise Wells Drive all the way to cruise Wells Drive all the way to Taft High School. Okay. All right. And I saw this house up here that I fell in love with as a kid. And I'm trying to remember what street it's on. And to me, it was the nicest house I'd ever seen in my life. It was on Brewster. This is it. Brewster Drive. Turn left. And I've not been here to see it for all these years. So let's see if it still looks even remotely like I remembered. This was it right here. To me, this was the nicest, when I was growing up, this was the nicest looking house I'd ever seen. Looks very, right now, it kind of looks very Palm Springs. I don't know if I'd call it the nicest house I've ever seen now. I mean, it's not horrible, but probably should leave before they call the cops on us. Alright, it's full circle, full spectrum. It's nice. Go this way. You don't mind if I just take a little detour. This is like going back. It's very strange. I haven't been back here in a very long time. And so it's kind of funny to just drive along these streets that I used to ride my bike in. And it's kind of trippy. Because even though everything has changed, it hasn't changed that much. It's still kind of the same vibe. New families, new stories. New cars. See, what's interesting, I don't remember it being this long up to get to go all the way up Van Alden. La Barca is where my friend Hillary lived on. She lived on La Barca. Yeah, I did ride my bike to school every morning, and I did it early because I had to be at jazz band practice, which started because there was no budget for it, for the jazz band. The only way that they could do it would be to do it at 7 a.m. So from 7 to 8 a.m. at Taft High School was jazz band practice 5 days a week. So I figured out how to get this basket made on the side of my bike. I was the biggest geek you could ever imagine. I had this basket on the side of my bike, which was probably not a 10 speed because I wasn't that cool. And I figured out a way to with a strap, one of those bungee cords, I strapped the sacks into the basket and rode my bike to school every single morning. I got there at 7 o'clock in the morning, so it means I was up Right. I can't believe, sometimes you think about things that you did when you were a kid and you can't believe that you did them. That's one of those things that I can't believe that it was that important for me to get my ass out of bed at 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 days a week, ride 3 miles or 4 miles, whatever it was, to high school. At least there wasn't any snow. That's one thing I can say. Southern California, we're not battling harsh weather. And occasionally, if it was raining, my mom or my dad would drive me to school. But Mr. Camp, I'll tell you, Mr. Camp, who was the jazz band teacher, was a great inspiration. He was a cranky old guy. And he was a math teacher, primarily. And he could teach a couple of music classes. That was in the time when they were really, still like today too, they were really making the budgets, crunching the budgets. And he had to teach way more math classes than music classes, but he was such a music lover. So he was very cranky. And of course, I saw him every morning at 7 o'clock.
Go.
Okay, well this is all new, all these... This is the corner of Winnetka and Ventura Boulevard, the site of Taft High School. My high school. There it is right there. William Howard Taft High School. Right across the street from Ralph's Market. And here we go. All this stuff is new. All these parking things. There it is. William Howard Taft High School. That's where it all happened. Oh yeah. We're here on the weekends, so everything is all closed up, but straight ahead right there is the that's the music building and the auditorium where I did a lot of concerts. Pretty amazing visiting these places, bringing back a lot of emotions. Of course, a trip down memory lane will do that for you. But thanks for coming on this little trip down memory lane. Tarzana, California. Come and visit sometime.